When most people hear the name Charles Barkley, they picture the loudmouth analyst cracking jokes on TNT, roasting Shaq, and saying whatever pops into his head on live television. But what most people don't know is that behind the personality, behind the hot takes and the laughing fits, Charles Barkley has been quietly assembling one of the most insane private land empires in the entire South. We're talking about 4,500 acres of Alabama countryside. That's not a typo. 4,500 acres. To give you some perspective, that's larger than 3,400 football fields placed side by side. You could literally drive for miles in any direction and never leave the man's property. He's got horse stables, a quarter-mile clay racetrack, legendary race cars stored privately on site, miles of riding trails, hunting grounds, and a custom-built log home sitting right in the center of it all, like the beating heart of a small kingdom. This isn't some celebrity vanity project. This is a fully operational working ranch that functions like its own self-sustaining world, and hardly anyone even knows it exists. So how did the NBA's most unfiltered personality end up building what essentially amounts to his own private city in rural Alabama? Let's take a deep insider look. First, let's address the obvious question. Why Alabama? Barkley could have gone anywhere on the planet. Los Angeles, Miami, Manhattan, all the usual spots where athletes and celebrities park their money and pose for cameras. But instead, he chose the same state where he grew up with nothing. And that decision reveals more about who Charles Barkley really is than any highlight reel or television segment ever could. See, Alabama isn't just a random investment for Charles. It's personal. He was born in Leeds, a tiny town where everybody knew your name, privacy came standard, and life moved at its own unhurried pace. When that's your foundation, the idea of living behind velvet ropes in some high-rise penthouse or gated Hollywood compound probably feels like a prison sentence. Barkley wanted open land. He wanted a space where the nearest neighbor is a half-mile down the road and the only sound you hear in the morning is wind cutting through trees. But let's not pretend there isn't serious financial intelligence behind this move either. Alabama has some of the low-tax property rates in the entire country. When you are sitting on a fortune the size of Barkley's, that is not a minor detail. Thousands of acres in Alabama cost a fraction of what they would run you in California, Florida, or New York. And maintaining a property that size does not drain your accounts every year through astronomical fees and assessments. On top of that, Alabama does not come with the paparazzi problem. Barkley can drive into town, pick up groceries, hit the golf course, and go about his day without a single camera flash. That kind of anonymity is priceless when you have spent 3 decades being one of the most recognizable faces in American sports. The ranch also lines up perfectly with something Barkley has preached for years. Stop spending money trying to impress people you do not even care about. He has never been the type to collect supercars or build some absurd monument to his own ego. He built a working ranch because he genuinely wanted to live there, not because it would trend on social media. In a world where celebrities chase every headline, Barkley chose the opposite path entirely. He bought dirt, raised fences, built a home, and created a life where he sets the tempo. But to fully appreciate why this property exists, you need to understand where this man started, because nothing about his early life suggested any of this was coming. Charles Wade Barkley entered the world on February 20th, 1963, in Leeds, Alabama, and adversity showed up almost immediately. His biological father disappeared early, just vanished without explanation. His mother remarried, trying to rebuild some sense of normalcy. But then tragedy struck again when his stepfather died suddenly. Barkley was only 11 years old. By the time most kids are stressing about homework and school dances, Charles had already absorbed a brutal lesson. People leave, plans collapse, and nobody is coming to save you. That mindset forged everything that followed. At Leeds High School, Barkley wasn't some heavily recruited phenom with scouts lining up outside the gym. He was short for basketball, carrying extra weight, and totally overlooked. During his junior year, he couldn't even crack the varsity roster. For most kids, that's the moment the dream dies. But Barkley responded the only way he knew how. He worked. He pushed harder, got stronger, got faster, and played with this raw aggression that was impossible to contain. By senior year, he was turning heads. A scout from Auburn University took notice and offered him a scholarship, and that single opportunity cracked the door open. At Auburn, he didn't play with finesse. He played with fury. He rebounded like his life depended on it, dunked with violence, and competed with a visible hunger that made opponents uncomfortable. He didn't fit the traditional mold of a basketball star, but his production silenced every critic. He dominated the Southeastern Conference and collected Conference Player of the Year honors before making a massive gamble in 1984, leaving college early to enter the NBA draft. The Philadelphia 76ers selected him, and suddenly the overlooked kid from Leeds was earning real money and playing on national television. In Philly, Barkley evolved from a player into a force. He led with raw emotion, clashed with opponents and media alike, and carried teams through sheer willpower. Endorsements poured in, headlined by a landmark deal with Nike. His personality became its own brand, and fame and fortune arrived together like a tidal wave. The 1992 trade to Phoenix changed the trajectory even further. He delivered one of the most electrifying seasons the league had ever seen, anchored the top team in basketball, and took home the MVP trophy. That same year, he represented the country on the legendary Dream Team at the Barcelona Olympics, sharing the court with Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, and Larry Bird. Barkley did not shrink in that company. He thrived. His scoring output and his sheer confidence on that stage made him one of the most talked about athletes on the planet. The Dream Team did not just win gold. They redefined how the world consumed basketball, and Barkley was right at the center of that cultural earthquake. But the body was breaking down. Chronic back pain followed him everywhere like a shadow he could not shake. Success and physical decline were running on parallel tracks, and he could feel both closing in simultaneously. His final chapter with the Houston Rockets was defined more by grit than glory. Injuries stacked up, pain replaced celebration, and in April 2000, he walked away from the court for the last time after 16 grueling seasons. Not with a fairy tale ending, but with the kind of honest, unglamorous exit that matched the way he had always played. Retirement did not slow him down, though. Barkley pivoted seamlessly into broadcasting, joining TNT as a studio analyst on Inside the NBA. His blunt humor and fearless commentary turned a post-game show into appointment viewing. Working alongside Shaquille O'Neal and Ernie Johnson, he constructed a second career that many argue carries even more cultural weight than his playing days. And that television money, combined with decades of smart decisions, gave him the financial runway to build exactly the life he envisioned. Which brings us back to the ranch. Because this property is not just a piece of land. It is the physical manifestation of everything Barkley earned and everything he believes. Prairie Oaks Ranch stretches across those 4,500 acres of Alabama terrain, and the operational details alone will make your jaw drop. The property runs 4 separate stables, enclosed workshops, equipment storage buildings, hay barns, and sawdust processing facilities. Every single pasture on the ranch has its own wells and drinking troughs, meaning the land sustains itself without relying on outside resources. Miles of fencing divide the property into organized, functional zones, separating woodland areas from horse pastures, training grounds from open range. And weaving through the entire property are over 13 miles of cleared riding tracks that follow a major prairie stream, connecting training areas, hunting spots, and recreational zones without disrupting the natural landscape. The recreation elements blend right into the working fabric of the ranch. Horse training stables and riding ranges sit alongside dedicated deer hunting areas. A quarter-mile clay racetrack curves through the property, and Barkley keeps 4 prized race cars housed privately on the grounds. These are not display pieces gathering dust in some climate-controlled garage. They are part of the ranch's daily rhythm, part of a life that is actually being lived. Access to the property is tightly controlled. The main entrance features a decorative iron gate with electronic controls. Understated in design, communicating ownership without screaming about it. Paved asphalt roads lead from both the main gate and a secondary service entrance directly into the central working areas. Everything is planned. Everything has purpose. And sitting right at the center of all this acreage is the main residence, where Barkley's personality truly comes alive. It is a custom-built square, pine log home, roughly 3,500 square feet, crafted by Hearthstone Homes from Tennessee. The structure sits low and wide, capped with a commercial-grade metal roof, grounded into the landscape rather than towering above it. 3 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, and 2 half bathrooms are arranged for comfortable, long-term living, not for showing off to house guests. Step inside, and the living room immediately sets the tone. Hard pine floors, reclaimed from a historic Georgia cotton gin, run beneath exposed timber beams, carrying texture and history into every corner. Twin fireplaces anchor opposite ends of the room, providing constant warmth that feels practical rather than decorative. Pecky cypress paneling and custom plaster walls soften the space, while handmade ironwork adds subtle detail without competing for attention. The furniture is arranged for conversation, for slow mornings, and for long evenings, for days that do not answer to a clock. The living room flows naturally toward a screened porch with custom oak plank flooring that extends the interior outward, dissolving the boundary between home and land. Light filters through gently, never dramatic, reinforcing calm over spectacle. The kitchen carries that same energy. Custom cabinetry paired with black marble countertops is heavy and understated, designed for regular use rather than magazine photo shoots. The master suite includes a travertine marble bathroom with a steam shower, while custom rosewood office cabinetry in the bedroom supports focused work done in total privacy. A large laundry room doubles as a secondary office, finished with distressed beadboard cabinetry and marble surfaces. A built-in charcoal grill anchors the porch for outdoor cooking. A triple garage connects to 3 separate storage rooms, all backed by a sprinkler system and a full alarm setup scaled to the property's size. Every element of Prairie Oaks serves a clear function. Nothing exists for decoration alone. It is a property engineered for a steady, deliberate life, far removed from attention and expectation. But Alabama is only one chapter of Barkley's real estate story. His Scottsdale home sits tucked at the end of a quiet cul-de-sac in North Scottsdale, hidden behind a long, curving driveway that immediately walls off the outside world. The architecture follows a modern desert contemporary style with flat roof lines, clean horizontal lines, and earth-toned stucco that melts naturally into the Arizona landscape. Mature desert trees and sculpted greenery frame the approach, guiding you toward the house with deliberate, almost cinematic pacing. A wide circular drive leads to a sheltered portico with thick stone columns and oversized wrought iron double doors that signal permanence without excess. Inside, a tall foyer opens with polished stone floors stretching beneath a sweeping staircase. Dark wood rails, iron balusters, and a cascading crystal chandelier pull your eye upward and set a composed tone immediately. The home unfolds laterally from there, with long hallways lined with artwork and antique-style console tables, large windows flooding every corridor with natural light, and seating niches that turn passageways into moments of pause. The layout prioritizes flow over separation, letting rooms connect organically without sacrificing privacy. The living room sits at the core, with floor-to-ceiling glass doors that open directly onto the backyard, pulling the pool and lawn into view. Neutral furnishings, dark wood shelving, and layered textures create a space that feels genuinely lived in rather than stage for a design spread. The kitchen balances function and refinement with dark wood cabinetry against expansive white stone countertops and gold-toned fixtures that add warmth without tipping into excess. A large central island anchors the room as the natural gathering point, built for everyday meals rather than photo opportunities. The dining area shifts the mood to something lighter and more intimate. A glass-topped table sits beneath detailed ceiling work, surrounded by art and mirrors that bounce light across the space. Sliding doors open directly onto the patio, letting meals transition outdoors without breaking stride. The primary bedroom breathes with oversized windows framing desert greenery, soft carpeting, and minimal furnishings that let the space do the talking. The adjoining bathroom feels like a private spa with dual vanities, a freestanding soaking tub positioned near a window, and a generous enclosed shower designed purely for unwinding. Entertainment spaces reveal a different gear entirely. A recreation room stretches beneath high ceilings, anchored by a billiards table and deep lounge seating arranged for long nights. Nearby, a climate-controlled wine room lined with wood racks creates a quiet, intimate enclave that feels worlds away from the rest of the house. And then there is the oversized garage and multi-purpose interior area, finished with polished concrete floors and expansive doors. It reads more like a private gallery or automotive showroom than simple storage. Outside, a long rectangular pool stretches across the lawn, framed by stone decking and covered patios with full outdoor kitchen setups. Barkley picked up this Scottsdale property back in 1998 for $2.2 million. Today, conservative estimates put its value somewhere between $6 million and $8 million. That is not just appreciation. That is decades of strategic positioning paying dividends. Where Alabama is rooted and rural, Scottsdale is sleek and modern. Both properties deliver privacy. Both deliver control. But they serve entirely different moods and entirely different moments in Barkley's life. And just like his properties, the vehicles in his garage reflect that same philosophy of intentionality over excess and comfort over flash. Barkley's car collection is not about trophies or status symbols. This is about having the right tool for the right situation, prioritizing privacy and function over headlines. Take the Ford Mustang Mach-E. This is the car he reaches for when he wants to move through the day quietly, without announcing himself. Smooth acceleration, clean design, a tech-forward interior, and the kind of understated presence that lets him run errands and handle personal business without drawing a crowd. It is his everyday vehicle for moments when distance from attention matters most. Then there is the Chevrolet Suburban, which handles the professional side of his life. This is his go-to for television tapings, public appearances, and event days that require moving with a team. The long cabin gives everyone room to settle in and prepare before stepping out into whatever is waiting. 3 rows of seating, a massive cargo area, highway comfort, and a quiet interior that turns the ride itself into a buffer between private life and public obligation. For daily city driving, he leans on the Lexus GX 460. This is the vehicle he trusts for meetings, quiet dinners, and low-key outings, usually alone or with someone close. The moment the door shuts, the outside world disappears. Solid construction, confident handling, and a reputation for lasting years without complaint. It is the kind of vehicle you depend on precisely because it never demands attention. None of these vehicles are about making statements. They are about navigating life comfortably, privately, and with purpose. And that same intentionality shows up in the financial architecture behind everything Barkley has built. Now let's talk numbers, because the financial engine powering all of this is smarter than most people give Barkley credit for. His estimated net worth sits at roughly $90 million, built across basketball, broadcasting, and decades of disciplined decision-making. Over 16 NBA seasons, his total salary reached approximately $40 million. Strong money for the era, but not dynasty wealth by today's standards. The real expansion happened off the court, where endorsement deals with Nike, McDonald's, T-Mobile, FanDuel, and Dick's Sporting Goods generated another estimated $40 million. His infamous Nike campaign, declaring he wasn't a role model, actually made him more valuable. Controversy turned into currency. After retiring, television became his most powerful revenue stream. His analyst role on Inside the NBA produced multiple long-term contracts, including a 5-year deal reportedly worth $30 million, followed by a 10-year extension valued at around $100 million. That put his annual earnings somewhere between $6 and $10 million, depending on contract structure. In 2024, Barkley publicly acknowledged that turning down offers from competing networks during the NBA media shuffle likely cost him up to $100 million in potential earnings. He chose loyalty and comfort over the bigger check. That's a power move most people completely overlook. His foundation shows up clearly in his assets. The Scottsdale residence alone has appreciated from $2.2 million to an estimated $6 to $8 million. He maintains property in Leeds, Alabama, where the ranch sits, and still holds ties to Philadelphia. The arc is clean and deliberate. Basketball gave him the platform. Television and branding converted that visibility into durable income. And today, that wealth funds a life built around space, privacy, and personal autonomy, rather than accumulation for its own sake. And what does the man actually do with his days now? It's quieter than you'd expect. Family anchors everything. He spends most of his time with his wife Maureen, keeping their routine private and unhurried. Mornings start early with calm breakfasts, light exercise, and time outdoors. Golf has become a daily ritual. He shares relaxed moments from the course on social media, clearly unbothered by score or performance. For him, it's about fresh air, movement, and mental space. His social circle stays intentionally small. Close friends, mostly from sports and television, gather for informal meals, rounds of golf, and long conversations with no cameras present. Laughter is constant. Schedules are optional. Travel these days is selective and deliberate. Instead of packed itineraries and constant flights, Barkley chooses short trips tied to rest, familiar golf destinations, or time with the people who actually matter. When he moves, comfort and peace dictate the direction, not obligation. Television work still occupies part of his schedule, but colleagues describe his off-camera existence as low-key and grounded. He shows up, delivers, and then vanishes back into his private world without fanfare. And that is really the whole point of this story. The Alabama ranch, the Scottsdale retreat, the broadcasting career, the smart investments, even the cars in the garage, they are all pieces of a larger transformation. Barkley converted early hardship into discipline, rejection into motivation, and fame into something sustainable. He constructed an empire that does not demand constant maintenance or public approval. It simply exists, generating wealth and opportunity while he focuses on what actually matters: family, health, and living entirely on his own terms. For a man who spent his entire career being loud, controversial, and completely unapologetic, the fact that his greatest achievement might be finding peace on 4,500 acres of Alabama countryside feels absolutely fitting. And with that, we wrap our deep dive into Charles Barkley's massive Alabama ranch and real estate empire. Which part of this extraordinary property impressed you the most? Drop it in the comments.